Some injury news, not great, but it's spring training. We talk about that, the ABS system, and a lot more on Locked On Cubs.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the number one sports podcast network. We are your team every day. I'm Sam Olber alongside Matt Cozy, and we are lifelong fans taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Some spring training stuff we got to get to. A lot of home runs given up this afternoon. Like I said, some ABS system stuff. We'll start with the injuries. I don't know what it is about our new schedule, Matt, but like the first day we're back together after 2 days of not being on the show, I just feel a little bit more energized, a little bit more excited. I also kind of feel like I'm playing for my job because Joe George did such an excellent job. So I'm really going to bring it today. Really going to bring the heat. But
the show is better when we're both here.
Well, of course it is. Of course it is. And Joe George, came out of the bullpen, Brad Keller style, and put up a great 30 minutes there on Monday morning. But we start with some bad news. I mean, this is typically how this goes. I mean, injuries happen in the spring. Cubs infielder, I really would say first baseman, Tyler Austin underwent surgery yesterday. This is from Megan Montemurro. Underwent surgery yesterday for a right patellar tendon debridement, if I'm saying that correctly, and is out for months. Counsel said Austin's knee had been bothering him and wasn't responding well. Also, left-handed pitcher Jordan Wicks. I heard you mention him, I think, with Joe on Monday. When you were talking about Assad and Ben Brown. And when I was driving, I hit the brakes a little bit when you mentioned Wicks, is dealing with forearm inflammation, no UCL concerns, down for days, not weeks. So one long-term, one short-term injury, Matt. But I really want to start with, Austin had I think there was some buzz around him, and people were excited about him. And I wouldn't say this is a small deal.
No, I think it's major. I think it's, compared to what, certainly he was a bench player, but he was a lock. He was a lock for the bench as far as I could tell. This decreases the Cubs' effectiveness with their bench players. It decreases their flexibility. And I do think in terms of the bench, the outlook for it, and the optionality that they had, it is a major loss considering the season hasn't started yet. Now, even if it does make them a little bit worse today, it's nothing that is insurmountable, and they could certainly plug in other people for the time being. But months to me, Sam, means what? March, he's gone, April, May, and then we'll see about the summertime. So it's unfortunate. He hasn't played yet for the Cubs. The Cubs don't have a right-handed first baseman anymore. It's not a big problem, but it's worrisome.
Yeah, it's a thing.
And, it shakes up the whole outlook for the non-roster guys too. And I'm sure they have a little more pep in their step because one more guy will now make the team. But to lose Tyler Austin, and I'm just putting a date on it just for the purpose of convo, July 1st, it's a lot of games.
And I really think the Cubs, I think the Cubs secretly were like really pumped about that move. Like it was kind of like, it was just one of those moves you could tell they really did their homework on it. I mean, not that they don't do that for every move, but you know what I mean? There was just buzz.
Yeah.
There was buzz around him.
Well, he went to Japan. He chose to go there to play every day, ended up spending 6 years there. And the Cubs had a clear interest in him. He had a clear interest in the Cubs. And it was a good relationship and under the radar signing, if you will, that really won't come to fruition for a long time now.
And, what do they say in that song? Our eyes look to you, Joe DiMaggio, or whatever that song is. Now the eyes wander over to Michael Busch because now, I mean, obviously the Cubs are going to replace Austin, but if there was an emphasis on getting Busch every day at bats versus lefties as well, now that emphasis just grows even more.
Yeah, I don't see anybody else that's going to start at first base at this point. If you
Right
want to
now.
stay there, I think I could see Matt Shaw putting on a first baseman's glove.
Oh, I couldn't.
I think Amaya and Ballesteros are going to get working in over there.
Is Shaw tall enough to be a first baseman? I say that seriously. I'm not trying to.
I think at this point, and this is why this is a major loss in Austin. I think this is only going to be in a pinch or emergency situations.
Well,
Shaw, Ballesteros, Amaya.
Okay, so that's my question. Matt Shaw only 5'10". I've never heard of that. Maybe there is. I could be wrong. Well, didn't Schwarber do some first base?
Not that I remember.
They're going to get another guy to hit lefties off the bench that could play first righty. To me,
really, who?
Well, Long. I think
he got hurt the other day,
right? But I don't think that's going to be a long-term thing. He would be the favorite, right? Unless Alcantara. No, would it be Alcantara? I don't think McCormick could play first. Can Carlson do that? I don't know. I'm telling you, Matt, they're not going to go into opening day with Bush at first and then just an emergency behind him. They can't.
Yeah, I didn't.
I think the road is paved for Jonathan Long.
Interesting. Yeah, but we just don't know what his status is.
Right. Assuming he doesn't have a long-term injury, I think his – and I saw something about he has to make a WBC decision soon. So that means obviously he's not long-term hurt if he's going to make a decision on that, right? Or else the decision would already be made. Because don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that Bush is not capable, but I just – with the way Counsell, how platoon-heavy he is – I feel like he's going to have another righty off the bench that can play first base.
Well, Long for sure would be the in-house favorite then if he's healthy.
Yeah.
I don't see them making a last-minute addition. Rhys Hoskins would have looked good over there, but he joined the Guardians earlier this week as a non-roster invitee, so the timing's unfortunate.
Castellanos, but he made a move.
We know the backup catcher is a lock. Shaw's a lock. I think Conforto now is all but a lock because of his resume. And then that would leave Long if he's healthy. And then the same guys we've talked about, McCormick, Carlson, Alcantara.
You're probably on to something with Amaya. Because here's the thing. Ballesteros doesn't make sense because he hits lefty anyway. They need a righty to back up Bush.
Yeah, no, it'd be Shaw, Amaya, and Kelly.
Yeah, which I just don't think they're going into the year with that. Because especially with Amaya's injury history, I just think
you better hope Long's healthy then.
Yeah, I think Long or they go pick up somebody. McCutchen can't play first.
Man, I don't know if anyone's out there, literally.
Well, there's somebody in another organization that you could bring in.
Oh, sure. Maybe they do trade something.
Yeah, it's not. No offense. It's not. We're not replacing. Stan Musial here. We could go.
Yeah, but as with the exercises going, they don't have anyone.
Right, but there should be somebody externally that if they need to, if Long isn't healthy, that they could bring in to take a couple ABs versus lefties off the bench in the big leagues.
Sure. Yeah,
maybe they do a trade or something small. You know what I mean?
All right, I unsigned guys, Sam, just to be thorough.
Please.
DJ LeMahieu.
That's one right there. I think
that's interesting. Yeah. And all these guys are minor league deals. Donovan Solano.
Not too familiar with his work.
Wilmer Flores.
That's one right there. There you go.
And Justin Turner.
There you go. Well, Wilmer Flores, I believe. I'll have to look that up. I think he
had a couple good years with the San Fran Giants.
But I also believe he is that's his job. He's a lefty specialist when he plays. I could look.
Yeah, so maybe they lock him up to a minor league deal with some incentives.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be minor league though. He did hit 16 homers last year. I think he's probably holding out for a big league deal. His 696 OPS or 688, but he's playing with the Giants. That's not the easiest park. Let me just see. I'm curious now I'm intrigued. I'm curious what he hit versus lefties last year. Just at
this point though, these guys need to make a decision. They might not have the flexibility to decide like that.
Right. That's true. But he might now. There might be an opportunity open here. Let me just see. I'm just curious what he hit last year versus lefties. Yeah, not great. Okay. No, he's actually better versus righties. I could have sworn that in the past, maybe career wise, who knows? I just think they're gonna either get somebody externally, or you'll see Long on the opening day roster. That's, I guess, the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
I could be wrong though. Maybe you're
right.
right.
I think Conforto's a lock now.
Yeah, that I'm interested in that too. All right,
Yeah.
a lot to talk about. We'll talk a little bit more roster impact and some ABS stuff. We'll do that coming up next. This episode is brought to you by Gametime. Gametime is back because the MLB's back. MLB opening day is almost here, and you can feel it. Fresh starts, big expectations, and that first crack of the bat. Whether it's a breakout rookie or division race that goes down to the wire, there's nothing like being in the ballpark for it. The only problem? Getting tickets can feel like a grind. Long queues, surprise fees, prices jumping at checkout. That's where there's Gametime. The Gametime app gives fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's simple to use. The Gametime guarantee means you get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price you see. What you see is what you pay, period. Folks, the last, 20 plus Cub games I've been to, I've used Gametime. I've never had a problem. It's as easy as it gets. 2 taps and it's done. No stress, no hidden fees, just great seats and minutes. That's what makes it so easy to dedicate last minute to hit a game. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. All right, we are back here on Locked On Cubs, and thank you for making Locked On Cubs your first listen today. Remember, baseball is back, and you could lock in by joining the Everydayer Club, which gets you ad-free episodes. For the next week or so, you could use code SPRING for a free month. Go to lockedoncubs.supercast.com or tap the link in the show notes. All right, Matt, anything else roster-wise? I'm surprised. So we disagree on this a little bit, right? You're hey, Bush is fine, and then we could just bring in, somebody that could play first righty, and I'm more of the ilk that either Long or somebody external is going to be there. We can leave that. We'll leave that. Let's log some disagreements. This is number 1 of the campaign.
Yeah, and I don't know if I realized Long's injury was less serious, which is encouraging to be informed of.
I believe.
Yeah. He did take swings the other day. I know Counsel mentioned that just off a tee or whatever. And then the WBC decision, as you said. But yes, I think there could be a path, even though it's narrow, to have Kelly / Amaya, Shaw, Conforto, and one of Carlson, McCormick, Alcantara, and the other guy, Sam, who is a first baseman, is Owen Miller. I think Owen Miller.
Good name. Good pull.
They would prioritize defense there, and he does hit right-handed, so I think he might be the guy.
Okay, good pull.
Yeah, if I had to update my Canva graphic, I'd probably put him in there.
Okay, so somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody.
Yeah, somebody that's there already.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I do think that when Bush does sit, now if Bush got hurt, that's a different story. Now you got to go make an external addition.
Yeah.
But when he does sit, I do agree. Just prioritize defense. You have such a good infield defense. You don't want somebody not being able to scoop a basic dig out of the dirt or whatever. Your whole team's built around your infield, your defense. Have somebody at first, can catch the ball, make the right decisions. Because we've seen when that doesn't go well. Remember when they tried Wisdom out over there and they lost that game to Kansas City on a Friday at 120?
Yeah, I just remember that. It's unfortunate though, because this means that someone like Bush, they're gonna ride him every day. Like if Owen Miller makes the team, he's not gonna play.
Right.
So that's another bench spot, another year in a row that doesn't get used. So they play with 25 guys.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see. Yeah.
We'll see what happens with the Bush lefty stuff the first month or two. If that doesn't go well, then somebody will play.
Right.
He's not going to hit lefties for 6 months if he's hitting 160 and no power and whatever, but he's going to get his chances, and he should. No, the Cubs have a lot of guys that are pretty irreplaceable. Pete in center, Bush in first come to mind. One of Swanson and Horner. What do you do if they go down? I mean, obviously you have Shaw, but you know what I mean? There's Bush and PCA probably are at the top of the list of the position players where you just really can't lose them.
Yeah, that would hurt.
Wanted to do just a little bit on the ABS system. I genuinely, I'm not going to lie, before spring training, I completely forgot about it. And then when I was watching it, you know how I am as a strategic guy and how I watch these games. I mean, my mind was exploding, just like off of all the strategic implications of this and how big a part of the game this is going to be. When they added challenges in the NBA still hasn't really figured out an analytical thing on this, because with the NBA, it's you get your 2, and even if you're right, I think you keep your challenge, but like it's not like they save it for like the late spots. Sometimes I see a challenge in the first quarter or whatever. Let's just talk about this real quick. So I want to make sure I have this right, okay? Each team gets 2 challenges, right?
Yeah.
And if you're right, you keep it. But even if you're let's say you're wrong on the first one, but you're right on the second one, you still have 1 left. Is that correct?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So the big thing on this is going to be, it seems as though most pitchers are going to defer to catchers from the defensive side of the ball with the challenge. At least that's what I've read and researched. And then offensively, there's 2 really big parts of this. Who has the luxury of being trusted to challenge, right? Who has a knowledge of the strike zone that you say, like, I'll be the first one to say, as much as I love Pete, I don't really trust him too much with his knowledge of the zone to do that. Hap, 100% should be able to challenge, right? But is there like a time where, let's say Hap's hitting with nobody on, 2 out in the first, okay? Does he get told by counsel before, like, hey, even if there's 1 to challenge, we're not challenging. It's low leverage. It's 0-0. You know what I mean? High leverage situations don't necessarily have to be late game situations. If it's the 3rd inning, bases loaded, 1 out, full count, that could be a 5-6 run inning. Then maybe that's the cue. How are they going to do this? Are you as interested in this as I am?
Not as much, but I do think the first time through the order should basically be, it's not in the lexicon.
Unless there's a bunch of guys on.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Right.
If there's more than 1 guy in scoring position, definitely. The bases loaded example I think was ideal. Like if it's the 2nd or 3rd inning. But I think this is going to be a innings 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 thing for the most part. Teams are also going to get 1 in the 10th and so on if the game keeps going. But leverage absolutely matters here. I think there's some work that guys like PCA have to do in order to utilize this appropriately. And, conversely, I think the Cubs do have guys that
I think they have tons
you would love, and Hap, Horner, Bush,
Bregman.
Yeah. So, and I think it's going to help. It could help like Asea.
For sure.
Who's gotten, really hampered by the current system in the past at times. But yeah, it's another wrinkle. I'm optimistic it's not going to slow anything down.
No.
I think with the timer in order to make a decision, plus the tennis-like technology on the screen for everybody to see, including the umpire, is gonna work out well. And it's going to be frustrating, the first time it does happen late and it's like, oh, strike 3 became ball 3. And then the next guy laces a double in the gap. But it's a new part of the game. We'll adjust. And I like it. I think it's going to get things to be more accurate. I think the challenge system in baseball, beside the ticky-tack stuff around the bases, has been good.
Everything but that.
And we move forward from here.
You should have nothing overturned if you slide the base by an inch. I'm in the camp. I think this is going to be a massive change, not to how the game flow is, but to the strategy. It's just like in my head, I'm thinking like, okay, 5th inning, couple guys on. And then there's the what pitch do you challenge, right? Obviously a strike 3 or ball 4, but how about a 1-1? How
1-1's a massive count.
Yeah. How many times do we see that change the course of an AB? I think the Cubs are going to benefit from this greatly because they have a lot of very smart players that know the zone, and they have a very, very intelligent manager. And, and I really trust Kelly back there in terms of the pitching side of it. So it'll be really interesting. I'm excited about this. I think it's going to add a wrinkle to the game that's necessary. It's not even as much about umpires getting the call right or wrong. I just think the strategy part's really fascinating. It really is going to add something to the game. So I'm looking forward to it.
And I'm sure they're meeting about this, in the classroom, so to speak.
Oh yeah.
And, just to get a little picky here, I know they're not using K-Zone technology on TV broadcast anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Then just get rid of the box, please. I don't need the box anymore then. Just get rid of it altogether. Thank you.
Got it. I'll send that into Manfred. All right, coming up next, we update the Bears Broncos game that broke out in Arizona, and we do a fun how much would it take that I have for Matt. That's coming up next. Welcome back to Locked On Cubs, the #1 Cubs podcast out there. Get all your Cubs info from Matt and myself as we enter the regular season. Hopefully not a lot of games like this. Is currently 14-7 is your score in Mesa between the Rockies and the Cubs. Matt, we had a professional baseball player on our show yesterday that basically told me, these spring training games for established guys, like they're just working on stuff, leave it alone. And as we should, as I've talked about, but I will say, another couple homers given up by J-Mo today. He's going to make one start, according to Matty Lee, one more start before the WBC. The only thing I'll say is like, I don't think any of this stuff matters, but just for the sake of the show, his whole thing last year was success of limiting lefty power, and I think he's given up 3 or 4 home runs to lefties to start the year.
Yeah,
start spring. But I really don't care. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, for entertainment purposes, Tyone might stink this year.
Yeah, no.
I'm getting prepped for it, and no, it is what it is, man.
No, he'll lock in, get it all out now.
Thielbar horrible today.
Yeah, and hey,
and Luke Little as well.
Well, I'm just saw that. Wow. Okay. So I'm a positive first guy. Cade Horton made his spring debut, 2 shutout innings today. Yes. But yes, you're right. A third of the inning, 5 earned for the stellar Caleb Thielbar last year. And then one of those guys trying to make the team, Luke Little, 2/3 of an innings, 3 hits, 4 earned, 2 more walks. More surprised at the 3 hits than I am the 2 walks. But now that's 1 blow-up outing each for Little and Hodge.
As you're keeping track.
Yeah, as they're trying to make the team. I will say, Hollowell struck out the side again yesterday.
Yeah, 6 strikeouts in 2 innings, man. Yeah. That's notable.
No, that's notable. And I'm telling you, what did I say? What do we call it? What did I say on the air? A Zombro something, like a Zombro candidate.
Oh yeah, Zombro project.
Yeah, like a Zombro. I forgot what I said, but somebody were
Zombro candidate.
Yeah, Zombro candidate. And I'm starting to get pretty pumped about that. Now he's at the point where his next outing, if it's on TV, which probably won't be, his next outing, I will have to lock into that.
Yeah, he's on the team right now for me. And Owen Miller is 4 for 9 with 2 doubles this spring. He's now on the team since Tyler Austin will be out until 2027. Go ahead.
No, that's not true. Bregman had a hit and a walk today. Happ had a 2-run double, I believe. Pete's still looking for his first base hit of the spring. Folks, we're just having fun here.
Horner and Swanson debuted.
And Horner and Swanson debuted, so that was good to see. By the way, I had a friend of mine ask me for some tickets for spring. No, it was not Justin Steele. Oh. He did not ask me for tickets to spring training, I believe.
I should have let you finish.
Yeah, I believe he has access to that. But anyone out in the Arizona area, Matt, the prices for these tickets, I was going to ask for somebody to get me 4 tickets for a family friend of mine. They're pretty pricey, these tickets.
Oh, no, Sloan Park's full every day.
Yeah, so was a little surprised by that. I thought it was like $20 a ticket, but
no.
It's not. Yeah, we're past that point. This better be a 90+ win team if they're charging that. All right, I have a how much would it take for you? We haven't done that one in a while. I really just have.
Closing a game on TV till this Sunday, by the way.
Yeah, no, you got to get MLB TV.
Wait, did you get it again?
Oh yeah, I get it every year. I just got it a little.
Maybe I'll talk to you about that.
Yeah, I got it a little earlier this year to be able to watch the games, but I still couldn't obviously watch today. Anyway, I don't want to go there. I'm in a good mood today. How much would it take, Matt? Let's say it's about 3-4 years from now. Okay, 3-4 years from now, you're sitting.
So you're 2030.
Sure, if the math works like that, yeah. You're sitting on your couch, your feet's up, you're watching a ball game. And you and your lovely son, Bennett, you're watching the game. And he says to you, Dad, I want to be a Brewers fan. Dad, I want to be a Cardinals fan, whatever's on. Dad, I want to be a Sox fan.
No.
How much would it take for you to allow your son to root for one of those 3 teams? Yeah. Cardinals, Brewers, White Sox.
Yeah. Okay. So the Cubs at this point in my life are not only the team that I love, I'm a diehard. I have so many family connections to it. It's part of who I am, for better or worse. Not only that, but it's baseball and the Cubs is really what I'm following now. Like, I will dabble casually. I mean, Bears are number 2,
right?
A clear number 2, and then I will dabble casually in everything else,
right?
So the Cubs paired with my fandom, even before we had the show, you pair the show, it's grown to another level and another level of significance. So to answer that question, I'm going to have to say about $50,000.
Okay, that's less than I thought.
100,000.
Yeah, I thought somebody would have to come and bring the Brinks truck.
Okay. My instinct was 6 figures, but then I thought maybe that's too high.
No, all right, 100K.
It's not really that big of a deal, but it is. Split the difference, $75K.
Now, I don't have a child. That's breaking news to anybody.
And why would you want to be a White Sox fan? Brewers or Cardinals? I mean, do I have to get into this?
For me, if I had to answer the question, I don't think there's an amount of money.
Right. Well,
but if I had to answer the question, it has to be something. I don't want to get into. It would have to. It'd have to be something to make my life like it. I'm talking like 10, 15 mil.
Like life-changing money?
Yeah, to the point where it's like, all right, kid, whatever you want.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because, okay, you know what? Now I'll sit front row at every Cub game to make up for it or something. Yeah, it would have to be
to me, I guess it could kind of get fun, like a family rivalry.
No, because for me...
I undervalued it.
Well, because for me, it's kind of like don't get me wrong, I would still have a great relationship with my dad if I were a different fan, but it's kind of like the fabric, it's like the infrastructure of my relationship with my dad. Like, my dad calls me.
It's a huge connection point, for sure.
My dad calls me. We talk about the Cubs. We talk about Illinois. We talk about the Bears. And then we talk about work. And then we talk about, personal stuff. Sure. So,
No, it's a great question. I'm glad you asked it. I think it was a great way to.
No, here's a great way to close Here's a great way to close the show. The Cubs had 2 guys picked off today. All right.
No way. They did?
Yeah, one of them's Alex Bregman. Thank you for making Locked On Cubs your first listen of the day. For those of you
2 pickoffs, a triple play.
Yeah. been sloppy. For those of you on video, we send you to the 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel and on audio. Make sure your second listen is Locked On MLB with Solely. Let's clean it up a little bit, fellas.
Nationals, yeah.